Hi everyone, I'm Anya Parampil and this is Red Lines. My guest today is Haitian activist and musician Chango Bastia. Welcome to Red Lines, Chango.
I thank you so much for this opportunity. Hi, everyone, and it's a pleasure to me to share my point of view about the Haitian situation right now. And thank you, Anya, for inviting me in this program. It's a pleasure for me.
Can you start by describing how life has changed on the streets of Haiti since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse?
uh, First of all, we need to understand in Haiti, it's in the last 2 years, it started a period of violence, of deep violence in the country. And is the reason why we see the kidnapping increase, assassination increase, and the gangs increase in the country. Right now in the capital, in east and west and south, and every point of the capital, everywhere you go in the capital, we find gang members. And also, it is the first time in the Haitian history we find a gang organization, like a federation of gang. The name is G9. Is G9 is a federation of gangsters linked to the power, linked to the government, and it's clear for the Haitian people. And all those stuff creating a climate of violence and also a climate of banalization of life in the country. Is the reason why when the president have been assassinated in July 7, it's the situation is so tense, everyone want to know what will happen because it's not clear because no one think about that assassination of a president in Haiti, and it is not a thing in our in the political game in Haiti since more than one century, and is the reason why every the situation was so tense. People don't go to the street, and people see what will happen. And after 2 and 3 days, everything's come back normal. It's normal. But what we need to understand in 27 in July 27, in one day, the gang members in the country assassinated more than 20 person in one day.
This is
And
last year?
no, this year,
In June.
in June 27, sorry, June 27. June 27, gang members, for example, in Delma 32, and it is a poor neighborhood linked to uh, Criswa. It is another poor neighborhood. When they killed the activist, my friend, my comrade, Antoinette Duclair, when they killed him and the other journalist, in total, in this day, they have been killed more than 20 persons, more than 20 persons. But can you imagine on the country, on a small island like Haiti, 24 persons have been killed in one day, and the president don't say anything, even a tweet to say uh, condolence to the families, even a tweet to say sorry, even a tweet to say we're gonna do that or this to make sure we find the criminals. And after 4 days around, the president gonna tweet to say happy Independence Day to the United States. That it's crazy. I mean, it's a banalization of life. And even the president, can you imagine in Delma 32, they killed people on the stairs. The people, I have the information that two brothers and same father and same mothers have been killed in this night. And it's so sad to understand that. But it's the reason why when the president have been killed, it's become a normal stuff,
Mhm.
a normal thing, because the president himself uh, did not do anything to make sure that the life of the people get a value, and it's important, it's so important. But he just keep talking about stuff, oligarchy, corrupt oligarchy and stuff. But in the reality, and the situation getting worse day
Mhm.
after day, because we don't need a president to speak to explain us what happened with the co-op oligarch of anything. We want some change. We want decision that can change the life of the people. And it is that right now, the activity come back normal. And there's the market is open, the airport is open, and everything is open. I mean, it is like a normal stuff, it's normal.
I'll ask more about the armed gangs and the interests at play in just a moment, but I wanted to get your take. What do average people in the streets say about the assassination, and who do they think was behind it?
There's several hypotheses, there's several hypotheses. First of all, uh some people think it is the opposition group. But for me, it's too evident, it's too evident, like the opposition gonna kill the president. For me, it is not a hypothesis really clear. The other one is the there's two important people, two important members in the economic oligarchy in Haiti, like Boulos and Dimitri Vob. And in the last 2 weeks, they have the judge and the court, they call Boulos about a corruption case. And also Dimitri is undercover because he has the state stopped his contract about the electricity, and also he had uh, to go to court. And right now he's undercover in the U.S., maybe, or in Dominican Republic. But some people think those guys both can make together to assassinate the president, because the president attacked directly their interests. It is another hypothesis. Hypothesis for me, it is not stand, because uh, it is too evident at the same time. But there's another point of view. It is a internal contradiction between the Jovenel Moïse political group, you know, internal contradiction, because, you know, and since Mateli was imposed in the power by the Clinton family in Haiti, and they create a new way to govern the state in Haiti by violence. And, Mateli claimed all the time before he becomes president, he's a legal bandit. He's a legal bandit, and they tried to govern Haiti like the legal bandit. But the thing is, Mateli had uh, a very powerful prime minister we call Laurent Lamotte. He is also a people linked to corruption in other country as well, and the Petro Caribbean money. His name is present, like the name of Jovenel Moïse, like the other minister of Mateli. And before Jovenel Moïse have been killed, he gave the the possibility to Laurent Lamotte to be candidate in the next election. Because normally, when you were in the state in Haiti and the government, you occupy that function linked to spend money. You have the parliament. Only the parliament can give you uh the own charge about your 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 about your government period. Like when you were minister or prime minister, the parliament's supposed to start to be together, both chamber, to find the if you if you get corrupted and when you govern, when you was minister or anything. But why now
To
Jovenel Moise?
investigate you.
Yeah, to investigate you. Yeah, thank you. And when before Jovenel Moise have been killed, he gave the possibility, he gave a positive conclusion of investigation. It is illegally, it is illegally because in Haiti, normally is the parliament get these rights to give you a positive or negative uh, uh, like declaration after the investigation of how you spend money when you were in the state. But Jovenel Moise give that to all other minister since 1991 and until uh, 2017. Is the reason why uh, some people think maybe it is a coup to Mateli, because Mateli normally doesn't want Laurent Lamotte to come in the election. Is the reason why they think maybe it can be an internal contradiction in the Jovenel Moïse group, political group, because Mateli normally get fear about Laurent Lamotte because Laurent Lamotte get a lot of money and he gets a lot of link and internationally. Maybe it is another point of view about the assassination of the president. But
So
right now,
you're
yes,
saying that Moise cleared Laurent
yes,
Lamothe from
exactly,
investigation, which would allow
exactly.
him to stand in the election and threaten Martelly.
The next election, yes, maybe that means Laurent Lamotte will be in front of Martelly in the next election. Normally, it is a point. He give
I
him clearance, like you said, and it is not only Laurent Lamotte. He give the clearance to
of
all.
all ministers,
Yes, yes,
which is
but
not the right of the president to do. This is
no,
the right of the parliament.
it is not. It is not because Jovenel Moïse tried to govern Haiti like a dictatorship. Because there's no parliament. They, Jovenel Moïse revoked, dismissed like the judge and the Supreme Court, and it is he doesn't have this right to do this. And Jovenel Moïse was the only power in the country. Is the reason why he gives clearance to the minister, and it is not his rights. It is the rights of the parliament. It is the reason why people think it is maybe one of the reason why Jovenel Moïse have been killed. But still now we don't know. But the fact is the police in Haiti arrest Colombians people, say the Colombians were the people who uh, assassinate the president. Still now, there's some people who agree with this argument. There's some people who said no, it is false. But the thing is, how can you assassinate the president without uh, kill even one of his security guards?
Yes.
It's weird. It's 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 not possible to understand that.
Yeah,
Because
that was the first question I had when I heard the news that armed mercenaries had stormed his home and murdered the president. Where was his presidential guard? And some people say, oh, well, these mercenaries claimed they were part of the DEA, so they all left the building. But it doesn't matter. If you are the presidential guard, you don't step away from your man for any foreign officials, for any foreign mercenaries or official armed representatives of the government. So it just didn't really make sense to me that the presidential guard wasn't implicated somehow in this assassination.
yes, and everyone in the street in Haiti think the same thing. How can you assassinate the president without shoot one of his guards, one of the security of the president? I mean, it's really sad to understand this kind of information. The police said the Colombian come, and even if the Colombian comes like mercenaries, still now get some information. Said the Colombian was hired by the state government, by the state to
So you're hearing
to
that in
fight.
Haiti, that they were hired by the state.
Yes, the state in Haiti, and still now, but we don't have clearly information still now. And also we have information about the main chief of the presidency guard. There's some information said he has a very often a
Traveled
flight
to Colombia.
to yeah, travel to Colombia and go back to Haiti, Dominican Republic. And still now we don't have like clear information. But the thing is, in the situation, the first people supposed to go to the police supposed to question is the guard, the presidential guard, because they was they're supposed to protect the president. It is
Yeah.
their purpose, their mission. But right now, and still now, nothing. It's clear on how this happened and on. But other thing we need to understand is Haiti is a colony of the U.S. Unfortunately, Haiti is a colony of the U.S. And the U.S. Why now after the assassination of the president? Because for me, I want to be clear on this. For me, it's impossible to assassinate the president in Haiti without the agreement of the U.S. government. For me, is that it is not only in Haiti and everywhere in the Caribbean region. It's impossible. CIA or FBI, I don't know, supposed to be in the scope. It is not simple stuff. You just keep it. But no, a president, no. For me, it's not true. The U.S. know what happened in Haiti and this day. For me, for me, because
Hmm.
Haiti is normally controlled by the U.S. The police is controlling totally by the U.S. It's the reason why after the death of the assassination of Jovenel Moïse, the US say a prime minister, all prime minister, and he has no rights, no legal uh, situation to stand to stand up to take off the situation. And the US said he gonna lead everything, even if he got no legal situation, he got no consensus between him around him, and the US said yes, he gonna lead everything.
You're talking about Claude
Season,
Joseph.
Claude Joseph, yeah,
And this is
Season,
someone who was heavily backed by the United States throughout his career by the National Endowment for Democracy and the US, by extension, the US State Department.
exactly. Claude Joseph, it is an agent for me. He is an agent, and the thing is, Sisson and Lalim and Haiti, the U.S. ambassador and the the people, the American women who are responsible for the UN mission in Haiti right now, they just say Claude Joseph will stay to control everything. And we need to understand that even if, can you imagine, Claude Joseph was prime minister before the assassination, and Claude Joseph say thank you for the president because you nominated a new prime minister. I said I give my support to the new prime minister and I congratulate him that he was being nominated. And why now the president have been assassinated and you just come back to power and simple like that? That mean is, I'm sorry to say that, but Haiti is a colony of the US, but a colony, eh, the U.S. just said Haiti is an independent country. Haiti gonna decide everything, but and the fact the U.S. decide everything in Haiti. However, the Haitian people, the organization in Haiti, and the political party in the opposition and the civil society, they said no. They said we don't want this. We need a new deal in Haiti. We need a new agreement to the uh, actors in Haiti, to the group, political group in Haiti, to start a new contract, a new project. But the US said, no, no, we need to go to election. But what we need to understand, Anya, is the US all the time claim this is democracy for them, election. But all the time we get election, was the situation become? Each time we get election, was the situation became? Because the point is, the election all the time is the bad election. All the time is bad election. And when you get a bad election, we're gonna have a real time of protests every day. Protests who said the president must leave, the president must resign, the president must resign, because the election was bad. Is the reason why we can have a president with legitimacy to govern Haiti. Is the reason why for us we said no. We don't go straight to election. Really, we want election. We want good election to make sure that the new leaders, the new president, the new senator and deputy will get real legitimacy. How can you organize good election with drug money, with money laundry, with money from corruption, with money from crime, from kidnapping? It will not be a good election. It
And
will
as
be
you say,
yeah.
with heavy influence from the United States, which brings me to my next question. Uh, you mentioned the political uprising that took place earlier this year in opposition to Moïse. Does this assassination create any space for people like yourself or the forces involved in that movement to have a voice in Haiti?
The thing is, we don't need only to have a voice. The thing is, Haiti is supposed to sit together, the Haitian people, the Haitian organizations, the Haitian political parties. We need to sit together and see what we and decide what we have to do in the country, what we have to do in the future of the country. Because the assassination of Jovenel Moïse, even if I don't agree with him, even if he was a bad president, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's supposed to be clear for everyone. I mean, if we don't want to go back and this kind of situation, uprising all the time, burn tires on the street, block the street, police shooting people every time is protest, we need to make sure that we have a consensus about what we want to do in the country. And this consensus can't just made in 2 months, 3 months, and quickly we go to election. No, no, the US know what they try to do in Haiti. They know clearly. They just want to put some bad president again to make sure that they control him, because he has a drug statement. He links to the drug dealers, he links to corruption. And when you have a president like this, the US can control him easily.
Yeah.
Because when you try to do something, they just say, you know what, you're linked to drug dealer, you was
Yeah.
in corruption like Jovenel Moïse, and they can control it. But if we can make a transition, a real transition in Haiti, a real transition, and the last transition for real, where we can sit together, we can discuss deeply the justice system in Haiti. Because in Haiti right now, when you see a judge, the the majority of the people see a thief. Can you imagine that? You can just pay to someone and he go out of the jail without a real trial process. I mean, we need definitely to understand that. Is the reason why we need the support, we need the solidarity of the people of the US, of
Hmm.
the US people, because they are good people. They fight for freedom, they fight for justice, they fight for democracy as well. But we don't need this kind of uh of of way to see of colony, and and say everything supposed to do in the country. Is the reason why the civil society, the political party, the petro challengers, we said no. We want this moment. It's important for us. It is a moment for us to decide the future of our country. If the US tried to make bad election like they did in the past, it will be not good. And we will be in the street all the time to say no, because it is not that the situation teach us. The
Is
situation help us to understand we need to definitely create a new way to see the government in Haiti, a new way to see the state, a new way to see the relationship between the US and Haiti, the relationship between Haiti and the Caribbean countries, the Haiti, the relationship between Haiti and Africa and everywhere, because we need to 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 start a new perspective for Haiti right now.
is there a political figure or party who can lead this political will, which you're describing, the desire to have a real, you're talking about almost a revolutionary rewrite of the entire system in Haiti. Is there a force that exists to push that desire forward?
It exists. Yes, 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 it is. Yes, it is. There's organization, there's credible people, there's a credible organization, there's credible journalists, and yeah, there's. But the thing is, the U.S. control everything. They because the police right now in Haiti, the source of the power is the police. Who the police gonna follow? Who the police gonna accept to take to take like advice or to take order from?
Hmm.
It is the point. But the police is totally controlled by the U.S. embassy in Haiti, totally controlled by the U.S. by La Limen Sison. And when you and the core group, when you are in the situation like that, it is really difficult for us, because the police, it is not a Haitian police for will. It is a police force created by the US in 1994 when they come back with arrested. And
Yeah.
the all the data, when you go to the police, you're gonna make a check, a police check. All this data go directly to the US embassy. I mean, it's totally controlled by the US. It's the reason why Claude Joseph can be and can do all those bad stuff he's doing right now. Because Claude Joseph is the US agent, go straight to make sure that nothing gonna change in the country.
Who are some
Nothing
of
gonna change.
who are some of the people that you think we should look to in Haiti? Who are some of the what are some of the organizations and the figures you mentioned who are credible, who have the trust of the people?
Yeah, get a lot. Like we have uh and Magali Komodoni, for example, Camille Chalmers, and Dr. Buteau, Jean-Enol Buteau, Dr. Jean-Enol Buteau. And we have also the Petro Challengers Group, No Pap Dormi. And we have also the political party like Petit Dessalines, like uh, Democratic Sector. We have Dear Pod. We have a lot of groups. We have Matrice Libération. We have uh, even the group linked to the power. It is not like a thing about the opposition only. It is everyone need to be together to discuss our future. It's the reason why today we call for support of the US people, of the American, so-called American people, because we need your support. We need your support, because if you don't help us to make sure that our voice is heard here in the US, Haiti will pass more than 1 century in the same situation, because it is the plan of the US. Because Haiti is a metronome to control the black people around the world. Because when you see Haiti, they just say because the US and his base is based on color, is based on racism, is based on white supremacy. Because when they see Haiti, they just say, you know what, the black people can do anything. The black people can uh govern themselves. You see, Haiti has he is the first, the second republic in America after the U.S. But still now they fight each other, amongst themselves. They can't govern themselves all the time. We need to send soldiers. But the thing is, they never said Haiti is uh, for most of the time occupied directly and military. Because after the independence of Haiti, we have embargo, a total embargo. Haiti was the first country to experience embargo in the world, like Cuba, like Venezuela right now, because it's a formula. When you make revolution, you will go under embargo. And after that, we have to pay France a so-called independence debt, and we pass more than 1 century to pay this debt, and we contract uh, money and the U.S. bank to pay France the so-called independence debt. After that, in 1915, the U.S. come in Haiti directly with soldiers, occupy Haiti until 1934, and after that we have the dictatorship of Duvalier, and supported by the US, supported by the US all the time. After that, we have the Aristide coup d'etat, supported by the US. And also they come back with Aristide in their project, because Clinton said that clearly. When they agreed to come back with Aristide, they give some principle, they give some agreement,
He
like
implemented neoliberalism when he returned.
exactly. Like destroyed the production of rice in Haiti. Clinton, after the earthquake, he make a testimony to say sorry, because he did that. But right now, and after that, they come back with Aristide with soldier, 20,000, 22,000 soldier in Haiti. When they come in Haiti, they pass like more than 5 or 10 years. And after that, in 2004, they come back with soldiers in the UN, and they live around 2 or 3 years around. But why now the US, the Claude Joseph, he is a traitor. He is a traitor. We need to understand that. He is a US agent. Claude Joseph asked the US to send soldiers, military in Haiti right now. And we ask to the US right now to stop sending guns in Haiti. Is that we ask for the US government? Make sure that they gun stay in the US, not go to Haiti.
Why
It's
do you think
supposed to be
the
clear.
why do you think the US rejected Claude Joseph's request?
No, they make it. They make it is a game. They said no, but they gonna send soldiers. They gonna send soldiers. It is a game. They try to say no, we don't want. But in fact, they gonna say so. They send FBI agent and order. It is a process. They
Department
gonna
of Homeland Security agents. So you're saying this is already the opening up of more US intervention in Haiti. I wanted to ask you about the something you brought up at the beginning of all of this, the situation with the armed gangs which are fighting for power in Haiti. What exactly is that reality?
the reality is, in the history of Haiti, uh, there's a lot of armed group trying to fight against the government all the time. Since 1915, when the U.S. occupation, it's uh, all those groups disappear. For a moment, because they disarm everyone and the U.S. control everything. And after that, they create the army, the Haitian army. The U.S. create a army in Haiti, but this is the U.S. army in Haiti, and by the Haitian, with the Haitian. And after that, when Aristide come back, after Duvalier leave the country, it is a free trade agreement. It is the neoliberalism project, and everything is liberalized, like guns, like everything guns, and they say. And right now, the gun producers, they see Haiti like a market, because Haiti is a big market right now for guns, because the gangster buy guns and the police buy guns to fight against the gangster. The gangster buy guns to fight against the police. It is a real project. But the thing is, the rich people control it, and the state control it, the government, and also the political group, because they the guns come from the ports, and the state control everything in the sports. The state and the rich people. Why we can't stop the 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 the, the business of guns in Haiti? Because they don't want. Because the thing is, the government all the time use those group, the gangsters group, to stay in power. Because why, for example, in Jovenel Moïse regime, the poor neighborhood like Delmasis, like Bel Air, like Matissa, like Garavine, like Village de Dieu, they can't go out to protest because the gangster control the neighborhood, this poor neighborhood. Cité Soleil as well for now. Because when you control everything like this everywhere in terms of uh poor neighborhood, we get a lot of people, you can't get like big protests, big uprising, you know, is the reason why we think Haiti right now it is a market for the gang, for the guns producers, and is the reason why we ask for the US, we ask for the US people, the US uh, organization, human rights organization to help us. We need to stop this. If we stop this, if we stop to sell munition and guns to Haiti, we can easily fix the security problem because it is one of the most one of the biggest problem right now, the insecurity problem, because the gangster control everything. The gangster have federation right now, and the federation of gangster link clearly to the power, and we had a ministry, he was in the meeting with the gangsters, and the gangsters shoot him and his feet, and they said the next time we will kill you. And it is clear, the link to the link with the member of the government and the gangster. But as well, we need to highlight the fact that they use those gangsters to make massacre in the poor neighborhood, like massacre in La Saline, massacre in Bel Air, massacre in Cafoufeuille, massacre in Delma 33, 32, massacre in all the poor neighborhood where the people doesn't I agree with the government. The people doesn't follow the bad project of the government. It is the main importance of the gangster right now is to control the power and make sure that they use those gangster in the next election. It is the most important thing right now. They don't disarm gangster. They don't arrest gangster. All the gangster make speech. The gangster make press conferences. The gangster make protests in the street with gun, everyone see with big gun, uh, war guns, and to make sure that people are fear. And right now, in the next election, the legal bandit like Mateli, Jovenel, Laurent Lamotte, they're gonna use those gangster, they're gonna use those guns to make sure that they control this electoral process, to make sure that nothing changed in Haiti, and they just follow their dream, like become rich and rich, and the Haitian people become poor and poor.
I wanted to ask specifically about one gang leader that I've heard a lot of debate about in the last week or so, especially since the assassination of Moïse, and that's Jimmy BBQ Cherizier. Why is he so controversial? What do you think of him? Because I've heard some people brand him as a man of the people, that he may be trying to change his rhetoric and change his image in order to act as a force for the poor and the working class. What do you see?
No, it is the same strategy of Jovenel Moïse. He used the speech of the poor. He used the speech of the revolutionary organization, but in the fact they work for rich people. Like Barbecue was an old policeman. He was wanted by the police, but the police use him all the time. And why now Barbecue is famous like gangster, cause he is the one become who come with this idea to make a gangster federation. Is the reason why he's famous, and also he is the one who makes speech and the radio and press conferences. And he is a leader of the gangsters in Haiti, but is the reason why he's so famous. But it is a joke. Barbecue is a gangster. He is a criminal, and fortunately, he will be to jail when we start the process to decolonize and to change the country. But we don't have fear about him. Maybe for now he can kill people because he is he is the one who protect by the government, by the police. Because Barbecue with gang, with arms, for arms, uh, go in the street and protest, and Barbecue with his gang members, they claim to fire a minister, and Jovenel Moïse fired him quickly and put the men they want to put. And it's clear the link. And also, Barbecue, he is a smart guy. He's a smart guy. He tried to confuse people. He tried to confuse people, and the gangster everywhere act like that. Try to say they protect the neighborhood where they are. It is it is like it is normal. Like why when they said that, because it is a strategy of the gangster everywhere. They said we protect the poor, we protect the citizen in this neighborhood. The other gangster can come to kill them. But it is like Jovenel Moïse said. Jovenel Moïse said we fight against oligarchy, we do with this, but in the fact, the situation is Jovenel Moïse worked for another group, another major group in the oligarchy, who spend money in his he is a wanted person. He will stay in jail, and unfortunately, the government support him, but uh, he will be in jail
How
soon.
did he get the name
When we
barbecue?
normally, and the information we get, the name is come from, because when he kill people, he just burn them like barbecue. He just burn them. He is the source of this name, according to what I heard. But he tried to say he caused his mother sell barbecue in the street, but it is a joke. It is a real joke. But normally, it's because he burned the people he killed.
Well, just to close, Chango, I'm wondering if you can tell, especially our viewers in the United States, where they can go to get trustworthy information on Haiti, who they can follow, and where they can follow you and also see some of your music.
Yes, thank you. And you can go and Aibo Post. It is a very interesting media right now.
What is it?
Aibo Post. It is a media in Haiti. You can trust that
IB
I could be
Post?
Aibo. It's AYIBOPOST.
Okay.
Aibo Post, and you can find information. Kiskeya Radio Kiskeya as well, and we can also find and Radio Resistance, and Creole Radio Resistance, and as well Alter Press Media, and also some radio station like Ibo Radio, Radio Kiskeya, and Radio Ibo, and also some other group, you know, that can give good information. But me, you can follow me on Instagram in Chango Music and Creole, Chango CHANGO MIZIK, and it is the same name on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and it's Chango Music as well. And you can see as well my music on YouTube. and it's Chango Music as well. You can subscribe to my channel, and as well you can buy my album, my first album named Fell and Quell on Amazon, on iTunes and Apple Music and Spotify, and everywhere you can find my album is Fell and Creole, FAFELANKREYOL. Fell and Creole, you can find it. And it is an album about decolonization of our mind, because we need that. We like Black people, we like Haitian people, like Afro descendant. We need definitely to decolonize our mind and to make sure that we understand, we can hear the voice of freedom come from our history, our origin, and our vibration, positive vibration, and voodoo, and all those stuff from Africa. And yes, it is that. And thank you so much for inviting me. It was a pleasure to me to share with you my understanding about what happened in Haiti right now. But one at a time, I want to thank you. I want to say thank you one at a time to you and to the team. And also, we make sure that the US people can hear that. We need your support. We need your help. Because Haiti, if we don't use this time to make sure that we can create a new way of the state of the government in Haiti, if we go straight to election, it will be a mess, and we go uh through we go straight to one century of crisis again.
Chango Bastia, thank you so much. I learned a lot from speaking with you, and I encourage viewers to follow you on social media, listen to your music, and be aware of the situation in Haiti with the kind of mindset that you've laid out.
Thank you so much.